When your phone rings and a machine answers it, the whole thing hangs on about 800 milliseconds. That's the window before a human decides the person on the other end is either paying attention or isn't real. Slower than that, and the caller's shoulders drop. So everything I'm about to explain is really a fight against that one number. This is RevenuePack Presents. Today, how a machine answers your phone. Not the brochure version, the actual chain of events, in order, from ring to hello to booked appointment. I'm going to show you every link, because the links are where the money leaks. Here's the promise. In the next few minutes, you'll understand the 6 things that happen between a ring and a reply, and you'll know which ones are hard and which ones are marketing. You'll be able to sit in a sales demo and know exactly which corner they cut. That's the whole point of this series, to make you ungullible. The chain looks like this. 1. The call arrives as data. 2. The machine converts your caller's speech into text. 3. It figures out what they meant. 4. It decides what to do. 5. It writes a reply and turns text back into a voice. 6. It does something in the real world, like booking. 6 links. Let's walk them. Step 1. Your phone number doesn't ring a phone anymore. It rings a server. The call comes in over something called SIP, which is just the internet's way of saying a phone call is happening. Here's the audio. No copper wire, no physical box on a desk. The moment that connection opens, a clock starts, and that clock is the enemy for the rest of the episode. Step 2 is speech to text, and this is the first hard one. Your caller says, "Yeah, I need to get my brakes looked at Thursday," mumbled, over road noise, with a dog barking. The machine has to turn that sound wave into those exact words, streaming, while they're still talking. Not after. During. That's the difference between a conversation and a voicemail. Good speech recognition now lands around 95% word accuracy on clean audio. Sounds great until you do the math. 1 wrong word in 20. In a 10-word sentence, you're rolling dice on getting the whole thing right. That's why the machine can't just trust the transcript. The next step has to be forgiving. Step 3. Understanding what they meant, not just what they said. I need my brakes looked at Thursday has to become, intent is book appointment, service is brakes, day is Thursday. If the caller says, "Do you guys do rotors?" the machine has to know that's the same neighborhood as brakes. This is the part the demos love to skip, because it's the part that actually decides whether the AI is useful or a fancy answering machine. Here's a concrete failure I want you to watch for. A caller says, "No, not Thursday, Friday." A weak system hears Thursday and Friday and books Thursday because it heard it first. A good system understands no, not, is a correction and lands on Friday. The gap between those two systems is 1 canceled appointment and 1 annoyed customer who won't call back. Step 4. The decision. Now the machine knows what they want. It has to decide what to do. Check the calendar. Is Friday full? Offer Saturday. Is this a new customer? Get a name and number. This is just logic, the same if this, then that any receptionist runs in their head. Except it has to happen in a couple hundred milliseconds, and it has to be right, because a machine that confidently books a slot that doesn't exist is worse than no machine at all. Step 5. It has to talk back. 2 things happen here. First, it writes the reply, the words. Then text-to-speech turns those words into an actual voice, with breaths and pauses in roughly the right places. The old robot voices you're picturing are basically gone. The problem now isn't that it sounds fake. It's that it sounds so real people forget to be forgiving with it. Add it up. Speech to text, understanding, decision, and text-to-speech all stacked back to back. If each one takes a quarter second, you've already blown past a full second of dead air, and dead air on a phone feels like an eternity. The best systems overlap these steps. Start generating the reply before the caller fully stops talking, to keep the total under about a second. That's the real engineering. Everything else is decoration. Step 6 is the one that separates a toy from a tool, doing something in the world. Anybody can build a machine that chats. The question is whether it actually writes the appointment into your calendar, texts the customer a confirmation, and tells you a job got booked while you were under a car. If it doesn't touch your real systems, it's a very expensive way to make small talk. So when you sit in a demo, here's your checklist. Does it handle interruptions? Or does it freeze when you talk over it? Does it recover from a correction? Does it actually book, or just promise to? How long is the pause before it answers? And what happens when it doesn't understand? Does it get a human, or does it loop? Those 5 questions expose almost everything. Now, Why this matters to your money. A missed call at a local business is not a neutral event. That caller had a problem right now, they picked up the phone right now, and if you don't answer, they call the next name on the list. Studies peg a big chunk of first-time callers as one and done. They don't leave a voicemail, they don't call twice. Every ring that goes unanswered is a customer choosing your competitor in real time. Do the arithmetic on your own shop. If your average job is worth $300 and you miss 5 callable jobs a week because you're busy, closed, or on the other line, that's $1,500 a week walking out the door quietly. Nobody sends you an invoice for the customers you never met. That's the expensive part. It's invisible. Here's the part where I tell you we sell this. RevenuePack builds the machine I just described. It answers your phone, understands the caller, books the appointment into your calendar, and hands off to a human when it should. We charge a flat monthly rate, no per-minute meter running while you sweat. That's the pitch, said once, plainly. But don't take the pitch, take the dare. Call our demo line right now, from wherever you are, and try to break it, interrupt it, correct it, change your mind mid-sentence. The number is 765-522-7225, and everything else is at RevenuePack.com. If it fails your test, you've learned something for free. If it passes, you've learned something worth money. Either way, you're not gullible anymore.